I thought this film was beautifully done. It
Thank you.
obviously has some very dark subject matter, so good
Very
job
much so,
on
yeah.
handling all of that.
Yeah, it's one of those. I saw the movie for the first time last night on a big screen, and it really, brings it home how it's dark and, brutal some of
Yeah.
the scenes are. It really doesn't shy away from it. I mean, I knew it when we were filming, but to see it on screen is a whole different level. But I'm really glad that we found the right mix of light and dark and the different shades that the story has. It was brilliant to do, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of impressive how it doesn't leave you with this just awful feeling when you're seeing
Totally,
it,
yeah.
but it still manages to find a way to give you hope and inspire you, which is not, I mean, I would imagine that's kind of a tricky balance to
Yeah, it's
find.
not an easy thing to do. It's all down to DJ and Francine really for writing, such an incredible script. It was all there. You really got there. You got it from the page as soon as I read it. You really felt that mix between the light and the dark and what the film was trying to portray. Yeah, it was amazing to work on.
Well, how did you come to this? What was your audition process like for this? Was it one of those like crazy long drawn out processes?
So I think it was for Abby, it was more so, I think, but she was cast a couple of months before me and they'd done a big search to find Michael and luckily hadn't found anybody. So they came to the UK looking and I got the audition through. I'd never read the book before. So I read the book before my audition just to prep and loved it. I read it in like one sitting. It was just, I love historical fiction. So I really, the material really resonated with me. And then I did my first tape and went in for the audition with the casting director. And then a couple of days later, I got a call saying, DJ's flying from LA to see you. Francine loves you, all looks good. And then as soon as I met met DJ, we were just on such similar mind wavelengths about how to do the movie and what the movie should be and how to really come at the character because it's a difficult character to portray. He can seem a bit he's the light of the movie, and so it's
Yeah.
hard to try and get all the different shades of the character in there. But DJ had such a solid way of thinking about the character that it was just a dream to play. Yeah, it was gorgeous. And then as soon as I met DJ, I think I flew to South Africa in like a week. Like it was just literally like sort the visa out and you're straight there for pre-production. So it was amazing. We got a lot of time to prep though, so it was brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, this film doesn't work if the chemistry between Angel and Michael isn't there and if
Yeah,
the
no,
audience
yeah,
doesn't care about them.
it's
I mean,
very
pretty much,
important. Yeah,
yeah,
I
it kind
think
of
yeah.
all relies on that.
Literally as soon as me and Abby met, I could sense like the producers and DJ being like, breathe a sigh of relief, like, oh, thank goodness that they like each other. Do you know what I mean? Thank goodness they get on because you kind of have to have that chemistry, and we did from the moment we met. We have such good mates now, such good friends, and yeah, from as soon as we met each other, we just hung out. And spoke about the movie and our lives. And it was, I'm so thankful that it's my first movie and it's also Abby's like first really major lead in a movie. So we really, we were at the same level, do you know what I mean? So I think the nerves between us were there at the same time. So we just kind of went on this journey together. And we had the premiere last night and we had a little glass of champagne before, just to be like how crazy it is. Like this is our first big thing and we're, promoting it. It's so exciting. We're so proud of like the work that we did. We had to it was a surreal moment. It was like kind of cheersing each other and being like, look what we did, look what we created all that time ago. Yeah, it was amazing.
Did you have a moment though before you got there, before you met her, where you were like, oh God, what happens if this doesn't work?
What happens if I don't like her? Yeah, I just knew, we tried a little over WhatsApp and things, and we'd spoken a little before I got there, and I knew instantly that, we were going to get on. So I wasn't so worried. But yeah, luckily, because it doesn't always happen, you have to get the right kind of chemistry. But luckily we did, because, all my scenes are with Angel mostly, and that character relationship is so integral to the movie. Without it, it just if you don't believe it, it all falls apart. And what I'm really thankful for watching the movie and seeing that it does work is, it's brilliant.
Yeah, how was it to have her as a scene partner to really get into this relationship? Because there's so many things going on that aren't
Yeah.
being said in the relationship.
Yeah, it's all,
Even with
yeah,
him just trying to win her over without.
totally. especially in those earlier scenes, especially,
Yeah.
when they're first meeting. My favorite scene in the movie is when they first meet, when he goes into the brothel and kind of sees her for the first time, and, she's expecting another customer like all the
Yeah.
men that she's met before. And he's, there's something different in this guy. And she kind of feels it as well. And he does. And you can see this is kind of like chemistry frisson between them. It's so beautiful to play with. That was my favorite. That was what I auditioned with, that early scene. That was my main first audition. And that I just love playing it so much because it's almost like, it's love at first sight, but it's like a teenage romance. It's that kind of, it's that flirting that you don't want to say you like someone, and she doesn't want to admit that she likes the guy because her experience of men has been so horrendous before, but she can tell that this guy's different, and there's a lot of love in those early scenes. It's great.
Yeah, I love the fact that, just by him being a nice guy, she doesn't know how to react to that or deal with it. It's like
exactly.
just him
It's a
being
shock.
genuine. It's weird.
And it's interesting what you said about it all being unsaid, because it's those little moments that you kind of see her in her eyes go, oh, I like this guy, but I don't want to admit it. And he kind of, he just goes in, full blazing. He's just ready to marry her as soon as he meets her. He's found the one. He's not going to settle for less, and she has to really trust him. Really, it's about finding that trust between them. Whether she can trust any man. She's never trusted a man before. Why would she? All the men in her life have treated her horrendously, and so for him to bring out that faith in her is kind of beautiful. Is a beautiful thing to play. So yeah, we were really lucky.
What was it like to figure this guy out and figure out how you wanted to play him? Because he is somebody who is so patient and kind, and he just gives her room to really sort of figure out what she wants.
Yeah.
How hard is it to balance making him a nice guy but still keeping him believable and genuine?
Yeah, and giving him depth. That's a really interesting question. Yeah, because I discussed it at length with DJ in the audition. We didn't want, Michael is the light of the movie and really helps Angel find her, path to self-love. And so, you have to, you can't play it too wishy-washy in a way. Do you know what I mean? Like you can't give it too, he can't be an angel. He can't be too angelic about it. He has to have depth. And, he's a guy who's kind of tortured himself. He's not happy in his life. He's not quite sure why. Everything seems to be going well, but he's just not quite found the one. He's not settled down. He's a little lonely. There's all these kind of inner aspects to him that you have to portray in order to, like you said, make it believable.
Yeah, there's so many times that, you don't want him to be somebody that'll just allow himself to be walked on either.
Exactly, yeah. And he's not, he gets angry at her at times and frustrated that she can't see what he sees. But I think what he really recognizes is the guilt that she feels about like her life. She feels so guilty for everything she's done, even though he doesn't, he thinks, it's not your fault, you're not to blame. And I think he recognizes that within her. And it's just him having patience to kind of, let her find herself, and I'll be here waiting. I'm not going anywhere. So as long as you find yourself, I'll just wait,
Yeah, I think that's why, like the scene of him crying alone in the barn, or the scene of him trying to talk himself out of going after her, those are important moments, because even though they're not sharing a conversation, you understand more about where he's coming from.
Exactly, I agree. So that's a really good point. I think you have to have those moments of doubt. He's doubting himself the whole time. Everybody's telling him this isn't the girl that you should be ending up with. She's trouble. She's got this past, and this is not for you. And he has to. It'd be unbelievable if we just showed him as like, nope, it's fine, everything's going well, whatever. But like, he has to have that, the doubt within him is like, am I making the right decision here? Should I be waiting for this girl? He waits for her for years, and like, it's a huge thing. So to see his, it's why the last scene is so beautiful, because like to see kind of the hope in his eyes becoming real. Do you know what I mean? The whole film is hope, and he's just lived on it for so long. It's exciting to finally, kind of see it all explode in the final scene.
I also love that we get the friendship between Michael and Paul. I think it's such an interesting dynamic. I love Logan Marshall Green as an actor.
He's brilliant. He was great to work with, yeah.
Yeah, what was it like to share those scenes with him, to have him as a scene partner? Because he seems like somebody who really just likes to be in the moment.
Yeah, he does, and he's intense as an actor. He like he likes to really like stay a lot in the character's shoes, and he likes to really go there with the part. I kind of come from a theatre background, so that's not really me. It's just not how I work. But we really found each other in the scenes and playing them, especially the fight scene between me and him was just a joy to play because you really get a sense of history between them. Even though in the film the history between them isn't shown, it's just you kind of have to go with it that they've known each other for many years. As soon as we had our first scene, the history was there between us already. Do you know what I mean? We didn't have to work to find it. It was just kind of there. They're such different characters. You wouldn't almost expect them to be friends in a way because they are kind of so different. But I think it's that difference that really brings their kind of friendship to life.
After doing this and doing such an intensely emotional role in telling this story, what was the last day on set like? What was the last scene that you shot? How was that?
It was a relief. Yeah. Well, the last scene that we shot, it was the last scene of the movie for the last day. And South Africa went into lockdown, I think literally 24 hours after we shot it. So we had to really shoot the end of the movie super fast. So it was very intense. So I think a lot of us just we were just like, oh, I just need to sleep. Do you know what I mean? We just need to just decompress after that very intense week. But it was incredible to think that we finally were able to get it in the can and to get it getting completed in time. We were so lucky. If it had gone like a day over, we'd have just been, in quite a bit of a pickle. And that last scene is such a we wanted to it's the whole movie is waiting for this moment, this incredible moment between Michael and Angel. And we just really wanted to do it justice. So it took a while, and it's happening at sunset. So you only have 10 minutes to shoot because the light only lasts for 10 minutes. So if you don't get it within that 5-10 minutes, it's gone. So there was a lot of pressure, but it was DJ and Abby are so great to work with that it was easy.
You also were in Gentleman Jack, which is such a great series. And
good. I'm glad you like it. Yeah.
Very different kind of period piece.
It is very different. Yeah. It's a very different story.
What did you enjoy about being a part of that story, telling that story and working on that? And how do you like doing these sort of period stories?
I love them. I mean, I'm a huge history buff. I think if I wasn't an actor, I'd have been some kind of history academic or something. I live for it. And so to do any kind of period piece is just such a joy to kind of do all the research and get really involve yourself in that world as much as you possibly can. I really get off on it. To work on Gentleman Jack was amazing. Yeah, Sally Wainwright, the writer, is one of my favorite writers of all time. Her work on TV in the UK is just incredible, and Saran Jones is just amazing in the series. It's an incredible story as well, and it's a story that's I'm from Yorkshire, in the UK, and it's where the story's based. And so to go up, I was able to stay at my parents' house as we were shooting, and so it was amazing. And it's the first job I ever really got. I got it straight out of drama school, and so it was just thrown in at the deep end because it's incredible. You've seen the series, haven't you?
Yeah.
It's an incredible character, and so it was such a joy to finally play it. But it's very different from this, much darker. Even though this story of this film is incredibly dark, it's a dark tale.
What do you learn about acting and about the craft of acting after doing something like that, after doing this? I mean, you're still sort of so new to the whole thing. How different do you feel as an actor now?
I mean, I feel a lot more confident. I'm really ready and raring to go for the next thing. I really am. I think I was worried, well, not worried in a sense, but I had drama school training, and I come from a very theatrical background. And so that's what I was used to. Movies are very different, and it's a whole different way. Acting is acting, but the way of making sure the camera and stuff, it's all it's a different method of working. Yeah. And so I feel like I actually love it more than I thought I would. I'd love to just do movies for the rest of my life. It's that kind of thing of you have 3 months to just get your head down, and you're on location the whole time, and it's all about the work that you're creating with other creative people, and it's that's your one job, it's your one prerogative. Let's just get this one script down, and to be so to go so in depth with one piece, rather than an 8-episode thing where you're kind of having to think. You've got so many different balls to juggle on TV. I think with filmmaking, it's the focus is a lot stronger, and I really like that way of working. It's much more my style. I think I hope.
A lot
Hopefully it
of
comes across in the film.
a lot of actors I've talked to talk about, wanting to play roles that scare them. Do
Yes.
you get a sense of that yourself? I mean, is
Totally,
that
yeah. I mean, and that can come in,
challenge you?
yeah, definitely. That can come in many, many ways. A challenge is a challenge for many different reasons. It doesn't have to be, I think people kind of want to go, I play a crazy character who does loads of crazy stuff, but actually like a challenge can be in like an intimate scene with somebody where it's just you two in a room talking and finding out what you want from each other. A challenge can come, in tons of different parts. This was a big challenge for me because I felt a lot of pressure as the only kind of British actor with, a huge American and South African team. Like, the accent was, I just wanted to like really nail the accent, and there were loads of different pressures. Your fight training and horse riding training. It was a big leap, but hopefully I did it justice. We'll find out. Yeah.
Well, you pulled it off. So
thank you. Good. Thank you.
Thank you for talking to me about it. I appreciate it. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie.
Thank you so much. Really nice to meet you. Yeah.